Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And if you have ever wondered if you can use YouTube to not only build credibility, but build your business, then you do not want to miss today's episode. I am so excited to have Andrew Murdoch with us. He's the founder of YT Era, a full service YouTube marketing solution for businesses and entrepreneurs. Now, after reaching a low point in 2018 and discovering the transformative power of YouTube content, he hit rock bottom, but he turned to YouTube videos for self-improvement and found success in boosting his mindset, finances, and health. Today, YT Era amplifies the world's biggest solutions by changing the way businesses and entrepreneurs do marketing. Andrew helps entrepreneurs successfully clone themselves to explode their awareness, credibility, authority, reach, influence, and sales by always putting their viewer first. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Thanks so much, Kim. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited for today's conversation. You and I had a pre-conversation a while ago, and then scheduling got mixed up and time zones got mixed up, but we are finally here today to have this conversation. So Andrew, why don't you take a couple of quick minutes, just introduce yourself and share a bit of your business story with us.
Yeah, sure, of course. So yeah, you hit all the main points, but one of the reasons why people keep inviting me onto their podcast is probably this specific reason, because I think everyone can relate to this. So in 2018, like you said, I was at rock bottom. I was absolutely convinced I was the world's biggest loser. I was. I had just ended a marriage. I was sleeping on an air mattress. I had tons and tons of debt, both mine and my ex's. I was absolutely convinced that, I was just miserable, absolutely miserable. And maybe it sounds a little cliche for me to say this, but just because it's cliche doesn't make it any less true at the end of the day, right? I discovered YouTube in a new light. I really did. I became obsessed. And here I am 5 years later, completely transformed entrepreneur. I got 10 full-time employees, 2 part-time employees, traveling the world as a digital nomad, and when I really look back, I can point to specific YouTube channels, and in some cases, I can point to specific videos that completely changed my life. It sounds cliche, but it's true.
I think we all have those moments. For me, it's not been YouTube videos, but for books. There have been books. And obviously, as a publisher, I love to read, but there have been books that have completely changed the way I saw the world. When I started reading like the Go Giver series with Bob Burg and some of the others, 12 Pillars, those books like radically changed my life and my business. So I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. And just to build off of that, even though I'm a YouTube person, I'm a huge book lover myself as well. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. However, because of my lifestyle as a digital nomad and traveling around the globe, paper is heavy.
Yes.
So I make a point of never having physical books. And sometimes people give me books as gifts and I'm like, great, thank you. And I read it as quickly as I possibly can. And then either I give it away or I ship it back to my mom in Canada because I just don't want to carry books. So I'm a big fan of ebooks and audiobooks, and I'm big fan. I do lean towards video content, specifically YouTube, but I'm still a big lover of books as well.
So I'm Canadian. So where does your mom live in Canada?
She's in Belleville, Ontario. I don't know.
I know Belleville.
It's a little hole in the wall place. No, but most people don't know where Belleville is.
Yeah, BC, I lived in Ontario all my life. I know where Belleville is. I've been to Belleville.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There's not much there.
True, but it's still a lovely little place. Actually, it's a tourist town.
Yeah. Is it really? Okay.
Well, because it's part of that Eastern Ontario block, and it's got some touristy things to it that you can do. And I think Belleville's one of those places where they might have had some like military forts and different things. So,
well, they do have an active military base right now in it's the tiny community right beside Belleville. But anyways, now we're going down another rabbit hole. But yeah, they do have a military base there. And it's like they used to have a John Deere plant back in the day. So it was a factory town, and now it's more of like a retirement community, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay. The moment you have all been waiting for. How to use YouTube. Andrew, I'm going to let you loose. And I know you're going to talk about a lot of things, and I'll probably interrupt you because I'm going to want to know things about my YouTube channel as well. So I'll let you loose for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, let me dive right in. Listen, building a YouTube channel to support your business is easily the most underutilized marketing strategy in my humble view. Simply because, well, geez, I could talk for an hour on this alone, but I'll give you the Cole's Notes version. This is indisputable. The number one content consumed today is video. It used to be text, then it became images, and now it's video. It's been video for years, and it's likely to continue be video for years until AR or VR disrupts that. But let's be honest, AR and VR is built off of the foundation of video marketing, right? So if you're in business and you're planning on being in business for the next 5-10 years plus, and you're not currently leveraging video marketing in some capacity, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but 2017 is calling, and they want their marketing strategy back. Okay, you will not be in business much longer if you are not incorporating video marketing to the fullest extent. Because I guarantee you, your competitors are. And now, why do a lot of people convince themselves that they can't do video marketing or YouTube channels? Well, in my humble, and I've been doing this a long time, I've participated and contributed in execution and strategy in dozens and dozens of YouTube channels over the years. The number one hurdle that people need to overcome, fear. It's fear. Because everybody has a smartphone in their pocket. You have a film studio in your pocket. You do not have an excuse. I'm sorry. Everybody has a fantastic camera and mic in their pocket. So
or a webcam on their computer.
That too. So the fear comes into the fact that they don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to be ridiculed. Oh, it's easier to send out a tweet, Andrew. Exactly. It is easier to send out a tweet, which is why the lifespan of a tweet is 18 seconds. The lifespan of a Facebook post is about 2 minutes. The lifespan of a LinkedIn post is about 3.5 minutes. What's the average lifespan of a YouTube video? 22 days, because you have less competitors. There's less people willing to put themselves out there. There's less people willing to set up the camera and the light and the mic and do all of that stuff. There's less people willing to go to that length, right? There are more people willing to send out a tweet or a text of some kind because it's easier, because there's grammar check and spell check. They're not going to make mistakes. Whereas, and I mean, come on, if you make mistakes on camera, you can edit that out if you have an editor, or you can learn some basic editing yourself, and you can tweak the content so that before you hit the publish button, it looks the exact way that you want it to look, right? So now let's actually dive into some meat. Let's sink our teeth into something really valuable. Once you've overcome that fear and actually just take action, because honestly, the best way to deal with fear is just do it. Feel the fear and do it anyways, is the old saying, right?
Yep.
It's just, the more you practice, the more you do this. Like, you have a YouTube channel, you've made hundreds of videos. I'm sure you're a lot more comfortable with the process now than you were in the first 10 videos. Would you agree, disagree? What do you think about that?
Well, let's just put it this way. Most of the videos are from the podcast, and my first few podcasts were not that stunning.
Okay.
My first few interviews were not that great.
And that's what you want. You want to be able to look back and see how far you've come, see how much more comfortable you are at interviewing your guests, see how much better your intros and your outros are. You want to look back and say, wow, I was bad. That's the point.
I love it.
That's the point. You have to start somewhere. Done is better than perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect video. There's no such thing as a perfect video. But you got to go. You got to start somewhere. Okay, now, enough with the teasing. Let's dive right in. How to dominate on YouTube. It is essentially a 3-step process. It's not complicated. It's not confusing. It's also not easy. So for you for you watching this video right now, or for you listening to this podcast right now, this is where you want to take some notes. But I want to let you know this isn't easy. If it was easy, every business would have a successful YouTube channel. It's a simple 3-step process. Step number 1, get the click. How are we going to get the click? It's very simple, 3 things. Topic, title, thumbnail. I don't care if you have the world's best thumbnail and title. If you pick a boring topic that no one's interested in, you got to pick a topic that people are interested in. Andrew, how am I going to pick a topic that people are interested in? You're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. You probably have a list of FAQs that people keep asking you over and over again. If they're asking you these questions, chances are they're going into YouTube and they're typing in a search query in the search bar the exact same question. Make videos on those FAQs.
Yeah.
Pretty simple,
or they're
right?
typing
Now
it into Google, which is going to lead them to YouTube.
Typing into Google and YouTube, you'll have the auto menu bar that shows up, and you can see what people are searching for. This is absolutely free. You can go to Google Trends. You can search for search terms and keywords in Google Trends to figure out if you're making a video on a topic that people are searching more for, or is it flat, or is it decaying, is it dying off? You know, there's all kinds of little tricks that you can spend to invest a little bit of prep time before hitting the record button. Because let's be honest, your time, it's valuable. There's only so much time going around. Everybody only has 24 hours in a day. So if you're going to hit the record button and go through the trouble of making a video, filming a video, editing the video, uploading the video, then at least pick a topic that people are interested in, right? So that's topic. The next thing you need to think about, thumbnail. You need to design a thumbnail that is enticing. It's got to be compelling. It's got to create some curiosity. Because, listen, I am not exaggerating when I say this. There are YouTubers out there today that will spend more time, money, and resources designing the thumbnail than the entire video. They will spend weeks. They will spend weeks obsessing over the thumbnail and the title and figuring out what would we click on. And after they finally find the thumbnail and title combo, the power twins, as we like to call them, once they find that this is it, then they go hit the record button. What do you think most entrepreneurs and business owners do? They hit the record button, they go to upload it to YouTube and go, oh, I need a thumbnail, I need a title. And then they just do a half-assed job, and then they wonder why no one's clicking on their videos. Well, you gotta give it some packaging. We gotta package the content, because again, barrier bad news here. I know Andrew's all bad news today. Human beings, we are very vain creatures. We like pretty things. Sorry, it's human nature. It's human psychology. It's human behavior. If I spent $50,000 on a nice watch, and for those of you watching the video, you can tell I'm not into the bling bling, but if I spent $50,000 on a really nice watch, that watch better come in a really nice box.
Yes. Yeah.
It just better, right? Because garbage in, garbage out. If someone sees, sorry for the language, but if someone sees a shit thumbnail, they're going to immediately assume it's a shit video. And what's more valuable than someone's time and attention? Nothing. The answer to that is nothing. They're not going to click because they're going to assume that this video is a waste of their time because look at this terrible thumbnail, right? And then what did I said it was the power twins. So the thumbnail is what grabs someone's attention first. Everything I'm about to describe to you happens in less than a second. You do it, I do it, we all do it. The first thing that happens in a person's brain is go, wow, look at that thumbnail. In a split second, in a fraction of a second, they read the title and they decide, is this relevant to me? So if the thumbnail was attention grabbing, yes. If the title is relevant to them, yes. There's one more thing that happens before they click. You, me, we all do this. We glance to the bottom right corner and we look at the time code and we think, do I have 8 minutes right now? Do I have 32 minutes right now? And if the answer to that is yes, if you have 3 yeses in the brain of the user, then they finally clicked. So you see there's a lot that goes inside your brain before someone actually clicks on your video. Topic, title, thumbnail. If you don't address those 3 T's, you are not getting the click. And then there's no point in making the video. There's no point in hit the record button. Okay. Any questions on that, Kim, before we move on to step 2?
Well, you know, The only thought I had, and we all hate this word, but it's so true. Your titles have to be clickbait. They have to be so attention grabbing that it's got to just really pack a punch. One quick question for you though, because I do use a couple of tools to help me. I use a headline analyzer, and I also use TubeBuddy. So, are those the types of things you would recommend? Especially like if you have a base idea of what you want to talk about, and you use those tools to enhance them.
So I have to give a very nuanced answer to this because my opinion is that people overvalue those tools and just blindly trust them without doing the homework on who their viewer avatar is and what actually is a winning combination between a thumbnail and a title. I can't undervalue this enough. So my mentor that I'm very lucky to say that I'm in his inner circle. He's the GOAT of YouTube marketing. His name is Daryl Eves. Okay, he co-owns Vid Summit with Mr. Beast and Sean Doris. In fact, I'm going to be seeing Daryl in October in Dallas at Vid Summit. Anyways, he has a book called The YouTube Formula. I recommend you read that book, you tear it apart, then you use those tools, and now you're using those tools from a power position. You're using those tools as an educated, informed person, understanding because there's too many people out there that just blindly trust these AI tools without putting any common sense, and then again they wonder why they're not getting the clicks.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I think you have to put in the pre-work. Like I'll usually spend like a fair amount of time working on headlines ahead of time, and then I put them into those tools to enhance. I'm very numbers oriented, so like when I see 60 on a score, it's like, okay, I've got to do something. I've got to get that score up at least to an A. I've got to get it up to an 80.
Yeah, I hear you. But there's so many ways to optimize videos. And sometimes I'm very concerned that sometimes people focus on the things that move the needle a tiny amount. Yeah. And I end up like pushing those people and saying, forget that stuff. Focus on the things that are going to move the needle this much, a whole lot more. Because the topic, title, thumbnail, that's what's going to get you a click. Don't worry about, what colors am I using? I don't care what colors you're using. There is a lot of strategy behind color theory, but there are other things that you can focus on that makes the thumbnail a lot more clickable. I mean, like I'll give you a quick rule of thumb before we move on to step 2, because we got 2 more steps we got to complete here. So make sure if you listened this far much in the episode, you don't want to leave now, because the next 2, and I would argue the 3rd step is actually the most valuable. But before we leave step 1, here's a really quick rule of thumb. If the thumbnail is a negative, worst mistakes ever with like a really sad face or something. If the thumbnail is a negative, that does a really good job of grabbing someone's attention, because the human mind is always on the lookout for danger. That's what our species evolved for. If you're using a negative themed thumbnail, make the title a positive. Best top secrets for blah, blah, blah. Negative thumbnail, positive title, it creates tension. When you create tension and curiosity, you're much more likely to get the click. Okay? So that's step 1. We got a motor now. We got a motor. Step 2. It's I can split step. So step 1 was in 3 parts. Step 2 is in 2 parts. We need to compel the viewer to watch the video and watch the entire thing. Why? Watch time. YouTube is a business. If you had an amazing business partner that's helping you make money, then you're going to bend over backwards for that business partner, aren't you?
Yes.
If you have a lazy business partner, someone who doesn't show up to work on time, doesn't bring any value to the company, doesn't bring in sales, doesn't generate revenue, you're not going to be very motivated to help that business partner, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm asking you to do is be a good business partner to YouTube. YouTube makes money by people watching ads. Duh. Yeah. Right? I know, obvious. So if we compel people to watch our videos longer, then ultimately they end up consuming more ads. Ultimately, YouTube generates more revenue. So that makes YouTube happy. You end up being a good business partner with YouTube, and YouTube will gladly share your videos to that many more viewers that fit your viewer avatar, right? Makes sense. So how do we get people to watch more videos? Easy. Splits into two parts. One, there is a component that you can't ignore, your on-screen charisma, your on-screen presence. Listen, there's some really easy tricks out there that everyone should be doing. Do something to put yourself in a peak state before you hit the record button. Do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, put on some music, dance around like an idiot, walk your dog, hug your cat, give your kids a kiss, give your spouse a kiss. Do something to put yourself up, because the camera picks that shit up. Okay? I'm up right now, but if I was talking to you right now and I was monotoned and I wasn't really interested and I wasn't looking at the lens and I'm not connecting with no one's going to pay attention. So there is that component of how you are delivering your content. So that's half of it. The other half, well, it depends on the kind of content you're making, and it does depend on the kind of viewer avatar you're trying to attract. There's a lot of variables here, but I can tell you from firsthand experience that putting a little bit of effort in post-production will help. Video editing, insert some background music, insert some pattern interrupts like sound effects or lower third pop-ups. Cut out any of the any aspect of the video that slows the pacing down. Cut out any of that filler language like so. It just slows the whole video down, right? If you do those things, it really does a good job of making the video more consumable, so that you have a higher percentage of your viewers that actually stick around into the very end, right?
Yes.
More watch time. Now, step 3, we got to move on to step 3 right away here, just so I can make sure I add value. Step 3, in my opinion, is easily the most overlooked. For the most part, most people understand the value of step 1 and step 2, but step 3 is where everyone just, like, they either haven't done the work or they've done the work and they just give up because they've done so much work up until step 3. They're like, this is good enough. No, it's not good enough. Step 3 is you need to be able to convert that first-time viewer into a repeat, returning, loyal viewer.
Yes.
Because YouTube, the YouTube AI, it's just a machine. That's it. It's just a machine. So anytime someone talks about optimizing for the YouTube algorithm, total BS. Optimize for the audience, because the machine is measuring everything the audience does and doesn't do. It's just a machine. It's just measuring what people do. So don't tell me that the algorithm is turned on you. No, you just suck at making content. Sorry. Because the machine is just measuring what people are doing. So when a view, so congratulations, you got the click. Congratulations, you can convince someone to watch all the way into the very end of your video. Now what? We need to convince that viewer to keep watching. So at the end of your YouTube video, give them a reason to keep watching. In the YouTube platform, there are these clickable elements that you can throw up on the screen in the last 20 seconds or less. It could be between 20 and 5 seconds. I recommend you don't worry about the subscribe button. Don't worry about a playlist. Don't worry about it. Like, you can do all of that stuff, sure. But when you start giving marketing 101, when you give too many options to the end user, it's more likely they'll do none of them. So give them one powerful CTA. Okay, so let's say it's a video on optimizing your YouTube channel, growing a YouTube brand. Well, give some thought before you hit the record button to what other videos you have in your library, what other videos you have in your archive, and give it some serious thought. So let's say, Kim, let's say you you know what you have on your channel. What other episodes do you have that relate to growing a brand on YouTube, growing your marketing strategy on YouTube? What other, can you think of off the top of your head, if you have any other videos that might explain how to nurture that lead after someone's been captured? Do you have any videos like that?
No, but we did have a pre-discussion. So I took your advice you had given me on the first call. I don't have a YouTube one, but I already went back. I do have one on SEO. So at the end of this video, you are going to be directed to a video on SEO to help you increase your
So,
skills on YouTube?
and I'm so glad that you prepped this, because yeah, now in this, we're using a real world example now. We're talking about YouTube marketing. At the end of this video, you can look at the viewer and say, now that you know how to grow your business using a YouTube channel, you might want to learn more about SEO, because YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. And you're going to want to watch this right now. And I'll see you over here right now, because physical body language, when you're pointing, and a verbal call to action, giving a specific reason, they're more likely to click now, right? Because they've watched your entire video. They've already seen value. They already like you. Well, the worst thing you could do is say, bye. Worst thing. Worst sin you could possibly commit. Thanks for watching. No, don't say that. You're still watching, so I know you enjoyed this content on YouTube marketing. You're going to love this SEO video next. And then compel them to click. Now YouTube is paying attention to how many viewers you've now convinced to watch not one video, but 2, or maybe 3, or maybe 4. All of a sudden YouTube goes, wow, this YouTube creator is doing a really good job. We need to serve their content to that many more viewers. Steps 1, 2, and 3. I kind of lied. Here's a bonus step. Step 4, dominate. That's your step 4. Dominate your niche. Control the narrative in your industry and other people that you're competing against. And I don't care if they're not my direct competition. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Because if they also have YouTube videos, then you're trying to get people to click on your thumbnails and not theirs. I don't care if they're not your direct competitor in business. In the world of attention, in the attention economy, they are your direct competition. You want to be making better content than them, and then you end up dominating. Every time you hit the record button, you're creating a clone of yourself, a clone of your brand. And all things being equal, if you compare your operation against someone else's operation, same business, same clients, same revenue, same everything, but one of you has a YouTube channel and the other one doesn't, I'm going to bet on the entrepreneur, the business with the YouTube channel, because they have more clones out there working for them 24/7, 365. Whereas the other person, you can only do so many sales calls. There's only so many hours in a day. Start leveraging your resources in a smart, strategic way, and you'll dominate your niche. That's what I got. 4 steps on how to win on YouTube.
That's awesome. And I wish we had more time to continue. Andrew, if people have enjoyed this video today, how can they connect with you?
Probably the easiest way to DM me is LinkedIn. I just find LinkedIn is, for obvious reasons, there's a lot more professionalism and maturity on LinkedIn than some of the other social media platforms. And then my company is YT Era. So you can find us at ytera.com. And we have an online course that you can get at ytforbusiness.com.
That is awesome. Now, audience, if you've listened to this and you've enjoyed this today, you are going to want to go check out episode 331, SEO Made Simple. If you are on YouTube, the video will be over here or over here. Haven't figured it out quite yet. If you're listening on the podcast, use your finger, scan back to episode 331 and listen to SEO Made Simple. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you on the very next episode. Bye now.